Hello and welcome to this first video. Alright, so today we're just going to get started with some basic Python scripting. I assume at this point you've already got Visual Studio Code loaded onto your computer. I'm hoping you can run a Python script already. If you can't, I'll help you. But if you can and you're at that point, this is the next step I want you to take. Alright, so whatever machine you're working on, I just need you to create a folder. Now you can create it in somewhere else if you want, on your C drive or wherever you wish, but just to keep it easy, I'm just going to do it on the desktop. So I'm going to create a new folder and I'm just going to call it Python project. Okay. Alright, so there it is on the desktop. So now what I'm going to do, this is just an empty folder. If I open it up, you can see there's nothing inside of it. Alright. So I'm going to go to Visual Studio Code. And I'm going to go to the top and File, Open Folder, and open my desktop. And there it is. This is the folder I've just created. So if I open it, so that's showing the contents of this folder in this window to the left here. And there's nothing in the folder, so there's no contents. All right. So the first thing we can do is you can see if you hover over here, you'll see some icons come up, and this one allows you to add a new file. So click on that and I'm going to call mine main. You can call it whatever you want, but what's important is the extension. It's got to be a .py file. It has to be .py, and you'll see now this recognizes this as a Python file. Alright, so let's just write our first line of code to test that this is working. So in Python, if you want to make a line, if you want to write a line to the terminal, you use a function called print. A function always has two brackets, and in this case you have to pass it what you want to print, and I'm just going to say hello world. And then if you set your Python up properly and everything's working, you should just be able to run it. It will open your terminal, and in your terminal there it says hello world, so we know our Python script is running. Good. Okay, so the only thing we're going to talk about in this video, just to get started, is variables. And so let me just write it here. And so with variables, one thing before we get into variables, in Python, if you do a hash, this becomes a comment, which means the computer won't read this. Oh, this is for humans to read. So the computer will just skip over that. All right, so all a variable is, in computer terms, think of it as a box. And a box that you put a name on so that we know what is inside the box. And then you can put something inside the box. So here's an example. I could just when I say the word name like this, I've now declared a variable, and I've given it, I'm going to call it something else because that's too confusing. I'm just going to call it animal, maybe. I've declared a variable. Think of it as I've got a box, and I put the tag animal on the box, and if I set it equal to something, that's what I want to put inside of the box. So in this case, I want to put the word cat. Oops, cat. And so now, this animal variable is holding a string, and we're going to talk about the different types of data that these variables can hold, but in this case, it's holding a string. And so from now on, instead of saying cat, we could just print out hello. And I'm going to use this plus, and then I'm going to print out the animal. And if this works, we should get hello world and then hello cat printed at the bottom here. Let's run it to see. Hello world, hello cat. All right, so obviously anything in quotes is a string, and it's just going to print that string out. But if it doesn't have quotes like this, it's the variable, and then it's going to print out the content that's inside of this variable. All right, so that's lesson 1, just about variables. I hope you can get to this far. And if you can, good, let me know, and then we'll carry on to the next lesson. Thank you.